So for this video, I'm going to be talking about 8 ways that you can use Poppets for teaching reading. So stay tuned. Now, there are many different Poppets. Here's the one that I have. They have bubbles that you can just pop, but right here, or I'll put it on this side, right here, here's a picture of a few other types of Poppets that you can buy. And Poppets are really affordable. You can get them at the Dollar Tree, the 99-cent store, Amazon. On Amazon, you can get a few at once for a cheap price. But with Poppets, they're kind of like an investment because you can use these in so many different ways to teach reading, which is a long-term skill that your child is going to need to know. So, as you saw briefly, I popped each bubble, and here's the thing. Poppets are really good to use for kinesthetic learners. So learners who need movement or need touch to be able to retain information. Poppets are also good for visual learners. They can visually see how they are learning. And then later, as they are reading, they can visualize the Poppet and what you taught them in the moment. So I also wanted to add too that as we use Poppets, we need to use multiple methods of learning because it helps with practice and with exposure. It's, in other words, multiple means of representation. So as I'm going to go on, you can visualize in your head your child writing them as well. So use supplemental activities with the Poppets to help your child retain this information that you are teaching them. So I'll give you an example as I go on with these 8 fun ways of teaching reading with these Poppets. The first fun way that you can use Poppets at home as a busy mom with a busy schedule is to quickly say a word and they pop each sound. Poppets are really good for recognizing sounds and words, and then therefore students can also spell words correctly because they are visualizing the bubbles popping in their brain as they spell. So here's an example. Let's say that you are cooking or doing whatever and you say, grab your Poppet, and you say pop cat. So you're busy. You didn't have to leave what you were doing. Your child was the one that went and got a Poppet, but now they're going to be practicing their reading and also their spelling simultaneously. So they're going to grab it, they're going to pop and say out loud. It's really important. Say out loud each sound. K, a, t, cat. Now, here's the multiple means of representation. If you want to, you can have your child also get a whiteboard. They can draw 3 squares. These are called L-Conan boxes. You can also print these out, find them on Google or Pinterest. And they can write each sound down in each box. This shows them that each word is made up of separate sounds. K, at, cat. Now, the second thing that you can do with Poppets is you can write letters on each bubble. It does not make a word, but this is for your child to learn their letters or their letter sounds. So what I did, I didn't write them on all, but you can. I wrote a C, E, F, G. Now let's say that your child is struggling with these particular letters. So you're going to be purposeful and write the letters that your child struggles with, or you can write any letters for that extra exposure. So you can have your child take out that Poppet and you can yell from the other side of the house, pop G. There's G. Pop E. There's E. And that's a simple way to giving your child exposure and practice to letter sounds or letter names. You can also say pop g, and they pop the g or the G sound. So the third fun way for using poppets to teach reading is phoneme deletion, which is just jargon and a fancy word for sound deletion. You're just going to have them delete a sound, and this will give them exposure and practice for hearing sounds in words, because again, this also helps support spelling in the long run. So let me show you what I mean. So let's say you're going to say the word cat. They'll pop at. Now make it at. They are going to think about each sound in the word that they just popped. They're going to unpop the sound that is not needed in at. They're going to unpop the beginning sound. And then they're going to say at. And like I said, it's going to help them with spelling, because as they spell the word cat, they're going to visualize and think about each sound. Or if they need to spell the word at, they're going to visualize and say, oh, it's only these two sounds, at. Now, the next method is phoneme substitution. They're just substituting one sound for another. So let's keep it with the same word, cat. They're going to pop cat, at, make it hat. You can have them either unpop the first sound, because that is the sound that they need to change, and then pop it again, or you'll just have them point to the sound that is going to be changed and then have them say what this sound is now going to be. With phoneme deletion and phoneme substitution, it just helps students recognize the differences in words, and it helps them recognize sounds in words. Also, don't forget to have your child write after they pop, or you can have them say the word out loud through spelling after they pop. Have them do something else after they pop each sound. So let's say that you want them to write each sound using ACCOMMODATIONS boxes. They don't have to use ACCOMMODATIONS boxes. They can just simply write on a whiteboard with no boxes. But let's say you had them spell cat, and this was the phoneme substitution activity. You'll have them write cat, then they'll erase the C, and then you know what comes next? They'll put the H there. Now, the fifth fun way that you can teach reading using poppets is having your child practice recognizing vowels, because let's say that your child is struggling with recognizing vowels, either the long vowels, which are the names of the vowels, or short vowels, which is their primary sounds, a, e, a, and a. So what you can do is you can write each vowel on a bubble, and then you can tell them pop a. They'll pop a. Then you can also have them write it on a whiteboard, or you can have them walk around the house and say, now find an a anywhere in the house. They can open up cupboards, find the macaroni and cheese box and say, here's an a, and they point to the letter A. That's something else that you can do via multiple means of representation, but let's keep going. You can change it up and say, now point or pop I. Then you can ask them, what's the other sound for I? Then they can say I. You can say pop you. They pop you. What's the other sound for you? You can say pop e. They pop the E. What's the other sound for e? E. Now, let's say that you also want them to practice their consonants. And consonants are all of the letters in the alphabet that are not vowels. So let's say that you have vowels and consonants together on one poppet to mix it up, to kind of challenge your child a little bit. Or you can just have just consonants on the poppets. I kept the vowels on here, but you'll do the same thing with the consonants and have them pop, and they do that. You can also ask them and say, what's the other letter that says k? And they'll say K. That's another challenge for them. Here's something else, multiple means of representation. You can ask them and say, what is a word that starts with the sound? And then they'll say cat. Let's keep it at that, cat. Okay, you'll do the same thing with F, or you can say pop F. You can ask them, what's a word that ends with F's sound? They'll have to think about F's sound and then think of a word like calf or something like that, or cuff or something. So have them continue practicing with some supplemental activities or questions after they use the poppets. The next fun way is syllable counting using the poppets. So you say a word and they pop each syllable. So let's say the word is butterfly. They'll have to say it out loud, make them say it out loud as well. Butterfly, fly. How many syllables? They'll look at how many bubbles are popped down and they'll say 3. A simple syllable practice using a fun poppet. Next one is word awareness. So you say a sentence and your child pops a bubble for each word that they hear. This is so they can be aware of each word in a sentence, word awareness. So let's say the sentence is, I like cats. They'll say, I like cats, and they'll pop each bubble for each word. I like cats. You can also do some supplemental questions, some questions afterwards, and say, so this is a sentence, what goes at the end of a sentence? They'll say a punctuation, or they'll say a period. So add some extra questions at the end if you have some ideas about that. Also with word awareness, you can also not only ask them what goes at the end of a sentence, but you can also ask them what are the sight words in that sentence. They'll have to pinpoint like or I, because those both are sight words. You can have a printed out list in front of them of sight words. They'll have to find it on the list and say, oh, I is on this list. I is a sight word. Like is on this list. Like is a sight word. That's something else that can help them practice with word awareness or just words in general with their reading. Now, here's a really fun one, and this is our last way of using a poppet to teach reading, is playing hangman. So here's the thing. You choose a word, your child tries to guess it, they have the poppet, and with every letter guess, they pop the letter that they chose. So let's say the word is cat. Let's say the word is cat, and they guess an E. They'll have to find the E and pop it. And of course, you tell them no, and then you draw the head or the legs on the hangman. Then let's say that they guess the C. They pop it. They got it. They got the C. And there you go. But you have to first write the letter sounds that you know is going to be in the word here and mix it up with some other letters on here, just like I did with E. Where is it? E. And with F, because those two letters aren't in the word cat, but your child needs some more exposure with letters. So there you have it. It's 8 fun ways to use poppets for learning to read. Drop in the comments below if any of these ways helped you. Drop in the comments below what way or ways that you are going to use with your child. Subscribe to the channel. Also hit the bell, the notification bell, because that notifies you on the next video that I'm going to post. Also like this video, and until the next one, I'll see you then. Bye.